I never believed in ghosts. Not really. I believed in stress, exhaustion, and the mind playing tricks on you when you're alone for too long. That's what I kept telling myself on the night of my last shift at Ravenswood Hospital. The place had been shut down for almost 10 years. Mold crawled up the walls, broken lights dangled from the ceilings, and the long, dark corridors smelled like rust and old medicine. A private security company was hired to make sure no one broke in: junkies, thieves, or kids looking for a cheap thrill. That was my job. Night security. 12-hour shifts, all alone. My partner, a guy named Dave, quit after just 1 week. Said he heard voices whispering from empty rooms. I laughed when he told me that. I wasn't laughing at 2:17 a.m. The rain had been falling non-stop all night. A constant, sharp tapping against the broken windows, like someone was trying to get in. My flashlight beam was the only thing that cut through the oppressive darkness as I walked down the main corridor. Every step I took echoed way too loudly, as if the building itself was listening to me move. I pulled my radio to my mouth. "Control. This is Unit 7. Routine check." Static answered. Of course. The radio had been acting strange all night. Sometimes, when I listened closely, I thought I could hear breathing through it. Slow, wet, and labored. I just told myself it was interference from the storm. I was always telling myself things like that. At the far end of the hallway was Ward C, the old psychiatric wing. That whole area was supposed to be locked, sealed off. But tonight, the heavy steel door was open. Wide open. I stopped walking, my breath catching in my throat. I knew for a fact that I had locked that door myself during my first round. "Hello." My voice sounded weak, swallowed by the suffocating silence. No answer. I hesitated, then stepped through the doorway. The air inside Ward C was colder, heavier, and it felt like it was pressing in on me. My flashlight flickered, then flickered again as I stepped deeper into the ward. Patient rooms lined both sides of the corridor, their doors hanging open like broken, gaping mouths. Then I heard it. A chair scraping against the tiled floor. It was a slow, deliberate sound. Somewhere ahead, in the darkness, my heart started hammering against my ribs. This is security. Identify yourself. Another scrape. This time, it was closer. I tightened my grip on the heavy maglite and forced my legs to move forward. That's when I saw it. A wheelchair. It was sitting right in the middle of the hallway, facing me, but it was still moving. Rocking slightly, back and forth. Back and forth, as if someone had just gotten up from it. A deep, primal chill crawled up my spine. Okay. Not funny, I whispered to the empty hall. The wheelchair stopped moving. The silence was absolute. And then, from behind me, he spun around. My flashlight beam shaking wildly, cutting frantic arcs in the darkness. There was nothing there. Just the long, empty corridor stretching back. The way I came. When I turned back, my heart nearly stopped. The wheelchair was closer, much closer. I didn't run. I should have, but my legs felt like lead, like the floor itself had turned to quicksand and was holding me in place. Then the radio clipped to my chest crackled to life. A distorted voice, barely a whisper, said, "Don't turn around." My blood went ice cold. "That's not funny," I choked out. "Control, is that you?" Static, then a different voice, low and broken, rasped through the speaker. "He doesn't like being watched." The lights in the ceiling above me flashed on just for a second. A single, blinding second of fluorescent light. And in that instant, I saw them. Hands. Dozens of them. Pressing out from the walls on either side of me. They were pale, with stretched skin over knuckles and bone. Fingers twitched and scratched from inside the concrete, like a legion of insects trapped just beneath the surface. The lights went out. I screamed. I ran. I don't remember the turns I took or the hallways I blindly sprinted down. The hospital became a shifting, impossible maze doors slammed shut in front of me. Fire alarms suddenly blared to life in a deafening chorus, and the echoes of my own footsteps sounded like they were chasing me. My flashlight died halfway down a stairwell, plunging me into total, suffocating darkness. Then I smelled it. Rot, and something warm and slick brushed past my arm in the black. I froze, every muscle in my body tensed. A whisper slid directly into my ear, so close I could feel the breath. You stayed too late. I swung wildly into the void, hitting nothing but air. I burst through the next door I found and fell, stumbling into the old operating theater. Moonlight leaked through cracks in the ceiling, illuminating the room in pale, ghostly stripes. Old surgical lights hung like metallic spiders over the operating table in the center of the room, and someone was lying on it, covered in a sheet. The sheet moved. A hand emerged from under it, reaching out into the cold air. It was my hand. I saw the same small scar on the knuckles from when I was a kid. I was wearing my watch. The sheet fell away. It was me on the table. My own eyes were wide open, staring at the ceiling. My mouth was stretched in a silent, unending scream. A cardiac monitor beside the table suddenly beeped to life. A single, long, continuous tone. Flatline. I collapsed to my knees on the cold floor. Behind me, a new voice spoke, calm, professional, and detached. Time of death, 2:17 a.m. I turned, my head feeling heavy. A doctor stood there, his face hidden in shadow. His white coat was stained with dark, wet patches of blood. You were never security, he said, his voice void of any emotion. You were a patient. Memories, not my own, hit me like a physical blow. Flashes of screaming, of leather restraints, of sterile white rooms. The accident. I remembered the pain. I remembered dying here. Alone. The doctor took a step closer. You keep reliving it, he whispered. Every night. This is your last shift. Always I tried to scream again, but no sound came out. Morning lights streamed through the dusty front entrance of Ravenswood Hospital. A new security guard, young and confident, signed a logbook at the front desk. He paused, looking down the main corridor with a frown. Hey, why is there a wheelchair sitting in the middle of the hallway? The radio on his chest crackled with static, and then a distorted voice, barely a whisper, said, Don't turn around.